Мы можем начать?
Да, конечно.
Отлично. We can start.
Thank you. Dear panelists, lecturers, and audience, as Istanbul Gelişim University Aviation Club, we welcome you all to our third aviation panel named Bulutların Üstünde, as Above the Clouds. I would like to make a short speech about our club's contribution in aviation industry. In my presidency, which have lasted for 16 months, we have made 49 events in total and hosted 162 guests. I will leave the president to my vice president starting on this June, and I believe that he will make this club better and better. We have always tried to make our best in order to develop the aviation industry altogether. And lastly, I will leave the stage to Mr. Halil and Mr. Kruglov, who are the moderators of this session. Thank you.
Дорогие друзья, авиационный клуб Gelişim университета приветствует каждого сегодняшнего участника. Наш президент Берк сделал столько невероятных мероприятий и в этом июне заканчивает свое, к сожалению, президентство. Я, Круглов Тимофей, а также Абдурахман Халиль, сегодня модераторы данной сессии.
Thank you, Berkay. And also, in addition to our President's speech, we would like to thank our biggest supporter, Mrs. Habibe Güngör, who is the instructor of our club. Today, in the first session, we weren't able to host General Director of Antonov, Mr. Gravilov, according to his urgent meetings. We will host Mr. Vladislav Vlasik, who is the Deputy General Director and General Designer of Antonov, and Mr. Günther Schindl, who is the CEO of the ASQS Group. We would like to thank them for their contribution. Let's not lose time anymore and start the question and answer section.
В сегодняшней сессии присутствует господин Владислав Власик, спасибо большое, заместитель генерального директора, а также главный конструктор Антонова, а также господин Günther Schindl, главный исполнительный директор компании ASQS. Хотим поблагодарить вас за сегодняшнее участие и без всяких замедлений начнем.
Mr. Vlasik, what is the key to become consistent at the best in the career?
Господин Власик, что является ключом к стабильному достижению лучших результатов в карьере?
Первое, большое спасибо за приглашение принять участие в вашем мероприятии. И хотел бы принести извинения от имени моего руководителя Евгения Гаврилова за то, что он не смог поучаствовать лично. Что касается ответа на ваш вопрос. В первую очередь необходимо любить свое дело, то, которое вы выбрали. Стараться постоянно узнавать новые знания в этой отрасли, в смежных отраслях. Обязательно необходимо уметь работать в команде. И если вы действительно хотите достичь серьезных успехов в карьере, если вы хотите быть руководителем, менеджером, обязательно необходимо развивать в себе лидерские качества, умение делегировать полномочия, умение планировать, распределять и выполнять поставленные задачи.
As Mr. Vlasik said, thank you so much everyone for coming, and he is really saying sorry for Mr. Gavrilov not coming today. He answered the question that you have to definitely love your job, that you every day you need to know more about this job, be better at being at the team, and if you want to become really good manager, you need to not just become a better manager, you need to become a better leader with understanding how to manage every part of everyone's every job.
Спасибо.
Thank you so much for that. Спасибо большое за ответ.
Mr. Günther Schindl, my question is to you now. Who is Günther Schindl? How did he reach the title of Chief Executive Officer?
Well,
in my case, it was
So first I studied aviation management in Austria. Already beside my studies, I was working back then for an operator called Tyrolean Airways. I started there in the quality management field. I was responsible, doing internal auditing and also developing a software, a very basic software. Soon after, I got an offer to become the quality director of an executive jet operator in Luxembourg. The company is called Global Jet Luxembourg. So when I joined the company, we operated about 25 aircraft, business jet aircraft. And I had the task back then because the company had some aviation legal compliance issues to basically bring the company back on track in order that we can phase in more aircraft into our fleet. So a lot of authority negotiations and reorganizing the organization. And during the work there, it was to start that safety management system became a topic by ICAO and then also by EASA. So I decided with my actually first two bosses I had in my career that we start a company, what is now ASQS. And I was appointed from the beginning on to manage the company. So we started the company very small, just itself. And over the years, so ASQS is now 14 years on the market. And we are now a team of more than 60 employees operating in 77 countries. And that's basically from the beginning on, I managed the company, and that's how I became the CEO of the company.
It's a great career. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the answer. Как сказал мистер Шиндл, он учился в Австрии. Там он разрабатывал программы, там же он работал в компании, и в организации, в которой он работал, возникли большие проблемы.
Господин Ким, я прошу прощения. Если это перевод только для меня по-русски, то я прекрасно понял все, что сказал господин Шиндл.
Отлично. Если вам понадобится какая-то помощь с переводом, вы можете...
Да, большое спасибо. Я понял, о чем идет речь. Давайте двигаться дальше, не будем задерживать.
Sure, thank you. So, Abdulrahman, you can ask the other question.
Okay. Mr. Vlasik, could you briefly tell us about Antonov's contributions in aviation?
Я понял вопрос о вкладе предприятия в авиацию. Как вы знаете, наше предприятие, наша компания работает уже 77 лет. 31 мая исполнится 77 лет по времени основания нашего конструкторского бюро, которое было основано Олегом Константиновичем Антоновым. На сегодняшний день это 1000-ный коллектив авиационных специалистов, инженеров, рабочих, летчиков, испытателей. Собственно, если говорить о вкладе компании «Антонов» в мировую авиационную индустрию, то прежде всего, конечно, необходимо сказать о таком самолете, как Ан-2. Особенно с учетом контекста, как создавался этот самолет. Олег Константинович Антонов называл самолет Ан-2 своей самой большой удачей. Это самолет, который начал производиться в 1949 году, производится до сих пор в некоторых государствах, изготовлено свыше 18 тысяч экземпляров. Это самолет бипланной схемы, который завоевал заслуженную, в общем-то, любовь всех любителей авиации. Он побывал на всех континентах, включая Антарктиду. Уникальная машина. Стоит также отметить, если можно, Тим, я могу давать паузу для перевода, как удобнее.
Отлично, можем и так сделать. We can do like this. We can do a little.
Я продолжу дальше.
Yes, we're gonna do like Mr. Vlasik is gonna answer a little bit. Then I'm gonna translate, and then we're gonna continue. So as Mr. Vlasik said, Antonov was working almost 77 years. There were any kind of people working there, engineers, technicians, a lot of different. And if we're going to talk about the impact itself, Mr. Vlasik thinks that AN 102 is one of the most impeccable, like one of the best planes that can be made. It's 49 years. It was developed in 1949 and still getting out. And it was on every continent, and it has deserved love.
Об этом самолете можно очень долго рассказывать. Машина имеет множество модификаций. Очень была короткая такая емкая характеристика этого самолета. Одного из зарубежных коллег, он сказал, эта машина может взлететь с огорода и сесть на колокольню. Уникальный самолет. Производится до сих пор. Следующий, тоже немаловажный этап, я считаю, это достаточно серьезный вклад в историю авиации. Один из первых военно-транспортных самолетов, а я хочу напомнить или сообщить, что Антонов известен прежде всего в мире своими компетенциями в области грузовых рамповых самолетов. То есть это то, что мы действительно хорошо умеем делать, в том числе военно-транспортные самолеты. Так вот, одним из первых военно-транспортных самолетов, специально предназначенным для перевозки грузов, для их воздушного десантирования, был такой самолет, как Антонов-8. Как вы знаете, если есть среди нас любители истории авиации, самолеты, которые производились до этого, это были переоборудованные под транспортные потребности, пассажирские самолеты и так далее. Вот Ан-8 это был самолет с газотурбинными двигателями, военно-транспортный, с грузоподъемностью 11 тонн. Назывался он «Летающий кит». Следующий... Давайте паузу для перевода.
Как еще раз?
Антонов-8 назывался «Летающий кит». Один из первых самолетов. Да?
Отличное имя, честно. Wonderful name. So, as Mr. Vlasik said, we can talk about An-102 a lot. And as one of his international colleagues said, it can fly from a village and reach any goal. So if we're going to talk about another impact, as we know, Antonov was developing one of the best military cargo planes, and
one of the first cargo planes. One of the first.
One of the first and one of the best. Now we can talk about one of the best kind is Antonov 8, right?
Следующий, в общем-то, тоже серьезный такой проект. Первый в мире широкофюзеляжный транспортный самолет. Это Антонов-22, Антей. До создания этого самолета мало кто мог себе представить, что аппараты такого размера, такой грузоподъемности, с такими характеристиками, в принципе, могут быть созданы. Это самолет с турбовинтовыми двигателями, с осными воздушными винтами. Это машина, которая вот, по состоянию на сегодняшний день в состоянии перевозить 80 тонн груза. И в 1965 году этот самолет на авиасалоне в Париже, в Ле-Бурже, произвел настоящий фурор. Уникальный самолет. Часть самолетов находится в эксплуатации до сих пор. Один из самолетов, который эксплуатировался нашей авиакомпанией, а у нас есть своя авиакомпания, мы занимаемся коммерческими перевозками сверхтяжелых, крупногабаритных грузов. Этот самолет достаточно серьезно пострадал во время российского вторжения на аэропорт Гастомель. Это вот еще один вклад, это самолет Антонов-22. Следующий, о чем я не могу не сказать, это уникальный в своем роде самолет, до сих пор нет его аналогов. Это самолет Ан-124 «Руслан». По сути, это не просто машина, которая может перевозить 150 тонн груза, которая может перевозить моногруз 120 тонн, которая обладает колоссальнейшим объемом грузовой кабины и может перевозить номенклатуру грузов, которую раньше немыслимо было перевозить авиационным транспортом. По сути, это самолет, который после демилитаризации, выйдя на рынок коммерческих перевозок, создал отдельную нишу перевозки сверхтяжелых и крупногабаритных грузов. И за историю эксплуатации этого самолета что только не перевозилось. Поставлено огромное количество рекордов, перевозились агрегаты турбины, перевозились вагоны метро, перевозились яхты, перевозились лопасти для воздушных генераторов. В общем, очень-очень много всего. Тяжелое оборудование для газовой промышленности, для энергетики. Во время пандемии рекомендовали очень хорошо. Машина уникальная. И на сегодняшний день эти самолеты продолжают перевозить грузы и будут выполнять это еще достаточно длительное время. Мы работаем над реализацией этих самолетов. Не могу не упомянуть об уникальном самолете Antonov 225. Действительно, компания Antonov, вся промышленность, смогли наглядно продемонстрировать миру, какого размера самолеты, какой колоссальной грузоподъемности могут быть созданы. Это венец инженерного труда авиационных конструкторов. Самолет был создан в единственном экземпляре. Создавался он для реализации космической программы. После развала СССР этот самолет некоторое время не эксплуатировался, но с 2001 года наша компания ввела его в коммерческие перевозки, начал работать под флагом авиалинии Антонова и был достаточно востребован. Он перевозил грузы, которые нельзя было перевезти ни одним другим самолетом. Он выполнил огромное количество перевозок во время пандемии, во время борьбы с COVID-19. И к нашему огромному сожалению, нашему, наверное, не только украинского народа, но и всей авиационной общественности, в феврале 2022 года, во время полномасштабного вторжения России и после захвата аэродрома Гостомель, этот самолет был очень серьезно поврежден. Можно долго говорить о еще целом ряде самолетов. Не могу не упомянуть прекрасный самолет Антонов-70. Уникальная военно-транспортная машина с коротким взлетом-посадкой. Самолет, который может выполнять десантирование грузов на скорости 120 км в час, обеспечивая беспрецедентную прицельность десантирования. Самолет, который может взлетать с неподготовленных грунтовых полос. Этот самолет обогнал свое время на несколько десятилетий вперед. Но, к сожалению, по разным причинам этот проект так и не получил на сегодняшний день достойного развития. А поверьте, самолет действительно очень достоин. Не могу не сказать о линейке самолетов Антонов-24, Антонов-26, Антонов-30, Антонов-32. То есть можно наглядно продемонстрировать, как создание удачной линейки самолетов и ее дальнейшее развитие позволяет до сих пор этим самолетам оставаться в эксплуатации. Возраст некоторых из них уже, в общем-то, перевалил за 50 лет. И как бы это ни вызывало удивления, но, например, даже такой самолет, как Антонов-24, до сегодня он востребован в эксплуатации, и в некоторых регионах планеты он успешно конкурирует с новыми образцами техники. А такие самолеты, как Антонов-32, которые создавались под условия высокогорья в Индии, даже получили там прозвище «Серебряный конь». Очень хорошие результаты эксплуатации. На базе этого самолета, кстати, создан самолет Антонов-32П, это пожарный вариант. тоже очень востребованы, эти самолеты производятся до сих пор. И вот в том числе самолеты Ан-32П участвовали в тушении пожаров в 2021 году в Турции.
Спасибо большое за ваш ответ. Firstly, we're going to talk about the Antonov 22. It had incredible capacity of 80 tons. Plus it had turboplanes. And in 1965, it had astonishing impact in Paris. After 2021, also we can talk about An-124 Ruslan. It has the capacity of 120 tons. It has like one of the best capacities, and it also had astonishing impact. It was moving yachts, waters, helicopters, and so on. Even in pandemic, it was one of the best, and it's still in work. Also, we can talk about Antonov 225 Maria. It's, I think, it's the largest plane. And in the beginning, it was trying to develop for the space. And in the end, we can talk about Antonov 70 that was able to eject any kind of cargo on the road when it was driving, and it can fly from anything.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Team. It's a great information about Antonov. We hope we will have shorter answers for considering the time. And we'll go back to Mr. Schindl. Mr. Schindl, my question is, what is the key to become consistent at the best in the career?
Yeah, of course, it's a difficult question. One of my, as I said, I had the luck to work with two great bosses together. My first boss, he always said one nice thing. He always said to advance your career, basically you need 10% inspiration and 90% transpiration. So it's all about hard work. Just inspiration is not good enough. Of course, you can have the greatest ideas, but if you're not willing to work hard, then of course the best ideas don't bring you anywhere. And I think that's really something I always tried to do in my professional life. It is important that you have goals, that you know exactly what you want to reach in your career, and then really just follow that path. So for me, it was also, when I got initially offered the student job to work in a quality management department, to be completely honest, I didn't even know what a quality management system is in an airline. So I was thinking more about product quality and things like this. I didn't know that this is something to do with checking legal requirements and auditing legal requirements. But it was so fascinating for me to be involved so much in the operation and like this. I just kept on going, tried to learn new things, see different things. I had the opportunity to travel a lot, meet people from different cultures, and taking all these components together, permanently see what are new challenges, what are your new goals. Always stick to where, what goals you have. Just follow that, and I think then you will have a great career in the aviation industry.
Oh, great. So we can find ourselves after we start working. Maybe we'll find our field nicely.
Exactly. So, and also always take opportunities. So if I would not have taken this opportunity with the student job, maybe my career path would have been completely different. So take the opportunities you get, and I'm sure you will have a fantastic you will meet fantastic people because it's a fantastic industry.
Great information. I have another question for you, Mr. Schindl. Could you briefly tell us about the ASQS group contribution in aviation?
So what my company is doing, we develop software, as I briefly said before, in the safety and quality management area. So basically it's an ICAO requirement. So you have ICAO Annex 19, which makes the implementation of safety management system mandatory around the world. And basically our company was one of the first companies developing a web-based application for the implementation of safety, quality, and risk management for aviation organizations. So our contribution here really is we try with our software system to support our clients to make a better and safer operating environment. So we're not just working with airlines or aircraft operators and with maintenance organizations. And this is all what our contribution is to the aviation industry. Predicting or at least supporting our customers working in a proactive way in terms of safety, identifying risks, managing these risks. And at the end of the day, our contribution is to support our customers to bring passengers safely from A to B. So that's really what we are working on a daily basis.
Trying to avoid hazards and have more safer work.
Exactly. Well, you cannot avoid hazards, but you can mitigate the risk from hazards. Because avoiding the hazard would mean we have to leave the aircraft on ground, and that's not our target.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
So Timothy would like to translate the answer.
No, Mr. Vlasik understands.
Okay. Then I will ask Mr. Vlasik now. What are your predictions about the future of the aviation industry?
Это очень интересный вопрос. Это очень интересный вопрос. Вы знаете, несмотря на всю ту кажущуюся консервативность того, что мы сейчас можем увидеть на рынке, ну, в первую очередь я говорю о больших самолетах. Все-таки, вы знаете, мне кажется, что мы стоим на пороге достаточно серьезных изменений и прорывов. Понятно, что они произойдут через какое-то время, но учитывая те изменения, которые произошли, например, в сертификационных спецификациях, касающихся легких самолетов, там будет значительный прогресс, это видно. Если говорить о больших самолетах, мы видим, что машины становятся более сложными, более высокоинтегрированными. Машины становятся все больше и больше похожими на роботов. И отвечая ожиданиям потребителей и в области транспортных перевозок, и в области пассажирских перевозок, я думаю, что нас ожидает в том числе и рост скорости. Самолеты будут становиться все более зелеными. То есть работы будет достаточно много. И стоит обратить особое внимание на такой сегмент авиации, как беспилотная авиация, которая колоссальными темпами сейчас развивается. И я думаю, что основные прорывы и основные интересные решения, основные коммерческие успехи, я думаю, стоит ожидать и в этой отрасли. И в этой отрасли, поскольку появилось много молодых, амбициозных компаний с хорошими проектами. Поэтому я полон оптимизма. Все, что касается будущего авиационной промышленности. Есть потребность, промышленность будет ей следовать, отвечать.
Thank you very much for the answer. As Mr. Vlasik said, it is actually a very interesting question. We're on the edge of the huge development jump. For example, if we're going to talk about the lightweight planes, there is a huge jump in the certifications. And if we're going to talk about the heavyweights planes, they're starting to become more like huge robots. So we can easily expect jump in speeds. Also, there will be essentially there are going to be more work to do. And one of the most perspective industries that we have in aviation is about drones and planes without the pilots. It's developing quite fast. Also, there are a lot of perspective, guys, that will definitely is gonna take everything. A lot of optimism. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Vlasik. Thank you also, Timothy. Mr. Schindl, what are your predictions about the future of the aviation industry?
I think there were already very good points from Mr. Vlasik, but from my point, definitely we know that sustainability is a big topic for our industry, because no matter whenever we have discussions about climate change or climate impact, of course, the aviation industry is always one of the industries which is the most easy one to complain about. I mean, even if we know it's about 3% of the CO2 emissions aviation is responsible for, still, I think that will be one of the biggest challenges for our industry, because we really have to prove how can we ensure sustainability. And I think it's a fantastic field for young engineers and for young aviators for the future to work in that direction, because we all know we only have one planet. And even if we work in this industry, a huge challenge, but also interesting environment. I was just yesterday at an aviation fair in Geneva, and also there you might have heard it on Tuesday. There were 60 climate protesters stopping the complete operation in Geneva airport because of this event happening there. But I think we will conquer these challenges as the industry. There are fantastic products coming on the market. For example, one of our clients, we work with the company Zero Avia, producing propulsion systems based on hydrogen. So I think from that side we will manage these challenges in our industry. We know it's a growing industry. If we just see the passenger numbers every year, of course during COVID we can do that, but we see growing numbers, and it's an industry with huge potential still, and especially for young students, I think it's just fantastic. We'll have a bright future in this industry.
Thank you very much. We have Mustafa Hocam. You want to ask a question, maybe?
Hi. Sorry, I joined late. I have a question. Now, you did talk about the sustainability, but do you think that we will be able to satisfy all three pillars of the sustainability one day? Because as far as I know, the airlines are not really financially sustainable, even if we solve environmental or social problems or pillars. What do you think about that?
It is definitely a challenging topic, and as you said, for airlines, it's even on the one side, it's the only means of transport which does not need that much direct government support. Of course, we can discuss here about fuel, that there is tax fuel, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, our global economy is dependent mostly on aviation and shipping industry. If we cannot find solutions for those two industries, and yes, also shipping industry, not going here into details, but also it's a big CO2 emission problem. So I think that the next 10 years will be very challenging, because on the one side we have to develop new technologies, but still especially developing technologies which are financially possible for the industry, and that we can continue to run our business. That's also one of the questions I always had, because in Europe we have this discussion, should we block, for example, business aviation completely? I think business aviation is always an industry which motivates investments into new technology. It's forefront runners in new technologies, and that's why we need all these components of the industry in order that we can guarantee that there will be sustainable operation possible from an environmental point of view, but also, as you said, from an economic point of view. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have also Habibe Hocam. Welcome, Habibe.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our guests. I'm Dr. Habibe. I want to ask a question about. Actually, I want to ask two guests here. So I would like to know what do you think about space transportation and what will be the future of space transportation? Thank you very much.
For space transportation, you mean for passenger space transportation, or I mean on that side?
Both.
Both.
For cargo and for passenger, because I mean USA seems they invest a lot in, and how will this affect actually air transportation? Do you think it's gonna be like air transportation plus space transportation in terms of cargo or in terms of passenger? You can think both.
I'm not sure if this is still happening in our lifetime, so that we have real space transportation. Of course, technology advances pretty fast. I also must admit it's not really my specialty. Talking about space transportation, the only connection I've had with space transport is we work together with. This is actually in Europe a spaceport. I did not know that honestly before. I only have learned that 2 years ago. So there's very up in the north in Europe. It's called Andoya. In Norway, there is a space hub, kind of, so where they are launching now also orbital rockets for satellites, for very small satellites. So there is definitely an industry, but I think it will remain more on that side, bringing satellites into the orbit. But I don't really see in the, let's say, in the next 50 years, passenger or cargo transport on a large scale. So of course we see now all these billionaires spending a few hours in space. I think the technology, what they're inventing, is fantastic. I hope that we can use this technology also in other areas, maybe more beneficial areas for the whole kind of being, and not just for a few selected billionaires, because I think it's important. Bigger challenges, I think, to overcome as human beings. So I think we should invest here more on sustainability, etc., before we really think about how can we transport passengers just in an hour from London to New York by doing partly space transport, etc., etc.
Thank you very much. What's your answer, Mr. Vlasik?
Что я могу сказать? Космические перевозки. В принципе, даже на сегодняшний день, если не говорить о регулярных перевозках, это уже реальность. Мы знаем о существовании аэрокосмических систем. Кстати, тот же самолет Ан-225 «Мрия», он тоже был частью аэрокосмической системы и, надеюсь, еще будет. Если мы говорим о решении транспортной задачи доставка груза на орбиту, безусловно, аэрокосмические системы будут развиваться. У меня в этом нет особенных сомнений, ну и мы видим, что происходит в индустрии. Я согласен с предыдущим спикером в том, что действительно в развитии космических перевозок, возможно, скрыты определенные резервы, сделать перевозки более экологичными. Если мы будем говорить о суборбитальных полетах. Я думаю, в этой области нас ждут достаточно интересные решения в обозримом будущем. Считаю, что перспектива такая есть. Речь определенно будет идти не просто о каком-то космическом туризме. Я думаю, что да, это возможно. Доставка грузов на орбиту – это реальность. Это то, что есть уже сейчас. Можно реализовывать. У нас были просто такие проекты, и воздушный старт, и с самолетом рейс, самолета Руслан. Это реализовано.
Thank you so much for the answer. As Mr. Vlasik said, it is already available and it's already going on. So one of the planes, actually, the 225 Maria, was in the aerospace system program. And if we're going to talk about transporting it to orbit, obviously it's going to develop very fast. So as Mr. Vlasik said, he agrees with Mr. Schindl. And if we're going to talk about the ecological point, we actually need to make it more ecological friendly, I mean. So, as he said, it's going to develop very fast.
Я бы не сказал, что очень скоро, но в обозримом будущем, да.
In the clear future, definitely.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schindl and Mr. Vlasik, on your answers. Before completing, I would like to remind the audience, any question, they can write it in the chat and we'll read it. And also, there's a link, we will send it now in the chat. Please fill the link so you will have a certificate. We will send it to you. Now we will complete with Mr. Vlasik. My question is, what are your predictions about the future of the aviators in the industry?
Тоже интересный вопрос, если мы будем говорить о будущем авиаторов. Безусловно, профессия авиационного специалиста, профессия авиатора в ближайшее время будет все так же востребована, как и раньше. Есть огромный запрос. Есть огромный запрос на авиационных специалистов. Безусловно, некоторые профессии, мы это можем видеть уже сейчас, особенно летные специальности, они все так же будут уходить в прошлое. Я думаю, что профессия пилота со временем когда-нибудь тоже уйдет в прошлое, и пилоты будут заниматься этим в качестве хобби для своего удовольствия. Большая часть полетов, очевидно, в будущем станет беспилотными, непилотируемыми. Что касается людей, которые будут создавать авиационную технику, будут заниматься разработками, изготовлением, обслуживанием, будут создавать вот тот костяк авиационной отрасли, я думаю, что у них есть будущее. У них очень много работы впереди. У меня нет сомнений, что авиация – это одна из тех областей, которые будут динамично развиваться. Потому что это высокие технологии, это скорости, это надежность, это в первую очередь безопасность.
Thank you so much for your answer. As Mr. Vlasik answered the question, this profession is going to stay as valuable as it is now. And if we're going to talk about pilots, pilots going to be disappearing, of course, because of the whole advancement in the technology. And they're going to do it as the hobby. And if we're going to talk about people who made plans like technicians and engineers, they're going to be one of the most professions that we really need. And it's going to expect dynamic development, as we already know. It's all about security, safety, and of course, being better.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vlasik. Mr. Schindl, actually, before a while you mentioned like technology, we are using technology to improve always. Some students, I know that they have fear like technology will take our role in the aviation industry. It doesn't take, because in the past there's a lot of jobs now, it doesn't occur actually. Because of technology, it helps, it doesn't delete our jobs. I just want to mention that. And I have a question for you. Mr. Schindl, what are your predictions about the future of the aviators?
I mean, I have to agree here with Mr. Vlasik, so many of these points I also would say. And but also as you said, I agree. It's not always eliminating jobs. Technology is changing a lot our jobs. But also here, especially for pilots, I just attended last week a conference held by EASA to the topic of artificial intelligence. And also here we see the AI roadmap of EASA says that by 2050, it's the target to approve completely autonomous flying. So yes, it is a direction we have to see. So the systems we work with are becoming more and more complex. As Mr. Vlasik said, engineers definitely always will be a very good profession and very much needed. Also in the IT sector, this is of course, it's more systems, more software, more automation, more interlinked systems, newer technologies. And I think that's important for the aviators. And on the other side, don't forget the aviation industry is a very volatile industry. Just to my career, I started my studies October 2001, so just 1 month after 9/11. I've opened my company in 2009, so really in the middle of the financial crisis, global financial crisis. I mean, we are happy that we could navigate our company pretty successful initially through the Corona crisis. Then, of course, also, as we know, by the political situation between Ukraine and Russia, also that is affecting businesses. But I just want to say here, it's a very challenging industry. We know it's volatile. So things which you consider as stable may change from one day to the other, completely unexpected. And the aviation industry will always be immediately hit by any political change situation. Just thinking about the Taiwan-China situation, we know this would have and will have immense impact on our industry. So what we are used to can be different the day after. But that makes it a challenging industry. And I think especially for you as students, it brings a lot of challenges, but nice challenges. It helps you that you see new things. You constantly have to develop yourself. You constantly have to attend trainings, to think about the future, and that's what the challenging thing is, but a very nice challenge of our industry. And that's why I think for aviators, as I said, the aviation industry will always be there. We will always use aeroplanes as transport for cargo passengers, etc., etc. So yeah, it's a very nice industry what all of you have chosen from your side.
Great answer. So aviation is renewable. So if you don't learn, read, and develop yourself every day, you will be just apart from the past that will be forgotten, actually.
Exactly.
Yes, we have a couple of questions from the audience. Yes, first question say, my question is to Mr. Schindl. Can private aviation be more sustainable than the large-scale commercial aviation? Although we have the eVTOL, but for single or dual flyers and are not long range.
I think it's even easier for smaller and private aviation, because we know we have already electrical aircrafts. We know, of course, range is an issue. One of my customers, it's Widerøe. It's a regional airline in Norway. They heavily invest into these electrical aircraft because they have many flights of just 30 minutes, 15 minutes. But what are important because it's connecting islands with the mainland in Norway. And I'm convinced that especially for these smaller part of the aviation industry, sustainability, we will reach much quicker because we don't have the weight component. Or about the technical side, Mr. Vlasik definitely can explain much better than I can do. I'm not even by title, I'm an engineer, but yeah, I'm not the best in that. But that's why I think, yes, private aviation and especially small commercial aviation will reach sustainability much quicker.
Thank you. our second question said, do fastly development in aviation would threat the existing lives in the planet, and technological development would cause also massive employment? So this question for both Mr. Schindl and Mr. Vlasik.
Господин Тим, вы не могли бы мне перевести? Я не до конца понял вопрос. Помогите мне, пожалуйста.
Can you repeat, please?
Okay, I repeat the question. It said, do fastly development in aviation would threat the existing lives in the planet, and technological development would cause also massive employment?
Как сказала Бут, будет ли быстрое развитие в авиации как-то негативно влиять на жизнь на планете, а также на технологическое развитие и безработицу?
Я отвечу так. Развитие авиации будет позитивно влиять на улучшение жизни на планете. Я в этом просто убежден. Безусловно, авиация будет идти по пути снижения выбросов. Безусловно, мы увидим достаточно интересные решения. Часть из них есть уже и сейчас. Это и гибридные установки, и альтернативные силовые установки для самолетов. Но поверьте, и я, в общем-то, в этом абсолютно убежден, что авиация – это один из драйверов экономики, это один из серьезнейших секторов транспорта, который позволяет сделать нашу планету, как бы это сказать, очень маленькой, очень доступной. Человек может пересекать ее в очень короткое время. Люди могут получить дополнительные свободы перемещений. Поэтому я думаю, что авиация оказывает положительное влияние на улучшение жизни на планете. И если говорить о величине удельных выбросов, какое влияние оказывает авиация на единицу перевезенного груза или на одного перевезенного пассажира, то это с учетом того, что это самый безопасный вид транспорта, я считаю, что даже сейчас достаточно неплохие показатели. Достаточно неплохие. А будут еще лучше.
Thank you, Mr. Vlasik. Waiting the translation from...
I'm sorry. Thank you for the answer, Mr. Vlasik. As Mr. Vlasik said, development in aviation is definitely positive reflection on the planet itself. It's highly ecology positive and is gonna stay this way. And he's, Mr. Vlasik, sure that aviation is driver of economy, transport, and it just makes our planet small because we have so much freedom to transport any stuff we want, or be a tourist to any place. And if we're going to talk about negative impacts of negative emission, for example, it's not that bad, and it will gonna be even better in terms of highly ecological friendly.
Thank you very much. And our question from the chat also, Mr. Schindl, do you think SMS softwares will be able to interact with AI since these systems are traditionally used for airport operations?
I have to smile now because definitely yes. We just launched for our company a big AI project. I cannot say yet too much about it, but in case you will follow us on LinkedIn or our company, you will see a press release in the next 2-3 weeks exactly to this topic, where we see the vision on that. Maybe in short words, definitely it will be. because we always talked about safety management system in the previous years. So when safety management system was introduced, we always talked about this reactive, proactive, and predictive component of safety management system. And if you read the regulation today, it only talks about reactive and proactive safety and risk management. I'm 100% convinced, especially AI technology will help us to make safety predictable. So that's where we are investing from our side, our company, and we will see very positive impacts for the aviation industry. So by implementing artificial intelligence, not only in SMS software, but also in other parts, we will make flying or the aircraft operation safer. We will be able to further reduce accident rates with that, because I'm convinced that predicting safety events is possible with the application of AI tools.
Interesting. Thank you very much. Mr. Vlasik, we know that Antonov has produced hundreds of aircrafts, especially the all-time biggest aircraft of the history, Antonov AN-225 Milia. People are curious if the AN-225 will be reconstructed, sir. If yes, then what is going to change in terms of design?
Господин Тим, я правильно понял, что речь идет о самолете Ан-225 и какие будут изменения?
Да, какие изменения в дизайне будут, если он будет реконструирован?
Я уже неоднократно отвечал на такой вопрос. Самолет Антонов-225 будет восстановлен. Естественно, он будет базироваться на той типовой конструкции, которая имеет сертификат. Но, тем не менее, проект восстановления этого самолета, мы понимаем, что он будет международным. Мы понимаем, что необходимо будет привлечь большое количество компаний, потому что большая часть системы этого самолета создавалась еще в бывшем Советском Союзе, и она требует замены. Таким образом, мы уже на сегодняшний день однозначно можем говорить о том, что будут модернизированы двигатели этого самолета с точки зрения улучшения их экологических характеристик, в первую очередь по шуму. Будет заменена авионика на современные цифровые комплексы. Будет заменено оборудование, будет заменено других самолетных систем. Мы сейчас ведем достаточно активные переговоры с большим количеством зарубежных компаний. Очень много компаний готовы оказать нам помощь в проекте восстановления этого самолета. Если говорить о каких-либо внешних изменениях в этой машине, они будут незначительные. Самолет достаточно неплохой с точки зрения аэродинамики, у него выдающиеся характеристики. В основном изменения затронут системы самолета и будут направлены на их модернизацию и на повышение их безопасности.
Спасибо, Steph.
Thank you so much for the answer, Mr. Vlasik. As Mr. Vlasik said, An-225 Maria is definitely going to be reconstructed. It's going to be definitely international help, and they're going to need a lot of different companies. For sure, they're going to say that engines are going to be less highly. They're going to be quieter. They're going to take a lot of different systems from other planes, and as a lot of companies really wants to help, they can and will help. And we're going to talk about the designs. So nothing really is going to change, because the main points will be about the engines and the safety itself.
Я бы еще добавил обязательно, господин Тим, изменения коснутся в первую очередь авионики и самолетных систем самолета. Их необходимо будет заменить на современные.
And yes, as Mr. Vlasik said, the main points will be also about the systems, and the system's going to be more moderate and new ones.
No, thank you very much. So, as we understood, it will be an international project.
Именно
So
так.
nice.
But it's really great news to hear, I have to say from my side, and it's really exciting news. I think the whole aviation industry is happy if we see the aircraft flying again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schindl. Also, we have a question from the audience to you, Mr. Schindl. What is the biggest obstacle you see in front of the eVTOL operations?
That's a good question. Before answering, I must say I have to disclose we work with one of the eVTOL companies together, so my opinion might be a little bit, of course, not be completely independent from that side. So we work together with the company Volocopter. For many of these eVTOL projects, I'm not really sure if the physical aspect is really what the projects predict and what they say that they can achieve. Some other problems I really would see if we really use eVTOL, what the vision of some companies is, they want to replace basically like air taxis, how these systems should be compatible. One is here. The Volocopter, they want to build these Voloports, as they call it, so that you have like a taxi stand in the city where you can then take one of their vehicles. I'm asking myself, is this compatible with, for example, a Lilium eVTOL on the transport? So I think there's still a lot of questions open. I think there's so many projects out there. As we know how industries work, there will be a big consolidation. It will be the question who is the first on the market, who can provide here a good product. But really, I think the first movers, that's now important to be ahead of the market in order eVTOL in terms of passenger transport. I'm not really the expert in this topic, I also must say, but that's a few thoughts from my side on this question.
Thank you very much. Also, another question, Mr. Schindl, for QMS software, when the company hands over one to another company, are they also monitored from your side, or the operator will get all keys, or there will be third part for the authority if there is a need, auditing? Thanks for now.
From our side, audit reports are of course shared. So between one company and the other, but this is always completely up to the organization. So from our software, it's not that we are automatically sharing audit reports between one company and the others, because that's always the decision of the organizations themselves. Also here, authorities do not have direct access to tools like this, at least in Europe, I must say. In the US, the situation is a little bit different. When you see US regulations, it's more that FAA needs an access to these tools directly. So your principal who is supervising the organization wants to have permanent access to the SMS and QMS software. So that depends a little bit on the geographical region, what we are looking into. But basically, it is that way. Of course, each operator is responsible for their own data. They keep this data, and it's completely up to them to decide what information they're sharing and what information they're keeping as confidential on their side.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vlasik, will Antonov produce commercial, passenger or cargo aircrafts again?
Да, безусловно. Антонов производил и намерен производить в дальнейшем коммерческие самолеты. В первую очередь, конечно же, грузовые самолеты, транспортные самолеты. В пассажирском сегменте мы также планируем сохранить свои компетенции. У нас достаточно для этого и опыта, и возможностей. Но в связи с текущей ситуацией у нас в стране, у нас война, я не готов сейчас рассказать об этом более подробно. Но мы действительно мы продолжаем эту работу, мы ее не остановим. Мы продолжаем работать в коммерческом сегменте. Мы планируем производить новые самолеты.
Thank you so much for the answer. As Mr. Vlasik said, yes, they will definitely, and they did, and they will. They already did a lot of cargos, and they will definitely do a lot of passengers for commercials. But regarding the situation now in their country, they can't say for sure, but they will.
Thank you very much. Also, there's a question from the audience for Mr. Vlasik. What is your 2050 vision of your company and about e-emission or zero carbon?
Что можно сказать? Ну, в первую очередь, после нашей победы в этой войне, Antonov был и остается частью мировой авиационной индустрии. Мы и сегодня продолжаем участвовать вместе с другими украинскими компаниями в международных проектах, в европейских проектах в частности, которые направлены на то, чтобы обеспечить нулевые выбросы и снижение эмиссий. Естественно, мы не остаемся в стороне от этих тенденций. Это общая задача для всей авиационной индустрии. Поэтому, да, к 2050 году мы работаем над этим, чтобы появились хорошие, проверенные технические решения, которые будут позволять обеспечить называемый нулевой выброс. Безусловно, я думаю, что в первую очередь мы это увидим на снижении на гибридных силовых установках, но и в последующем, после того, когда такие самолеты станут более эффективны, чем самолеты на двигателях на сгорание, мы перейдем к нулевому выбросу. К 2050 году мы готовимся, мы участвуем в этих проектах, мы занимаемся этими разработками уже сейчас.
Thank you so much for the answer, Mr. Vlasik. As Mr. Vlasik said, Antonov was and will be one of the greatest in the world. We already know it. And internationally, they're already doing a lot of collaboration regarding this matter for the zero emission. And definitely they will reach until the 2050. They will zero emission, definitely. And regarding that, they're already doing a lot of work on that. Also about the hybrid power plants. And yeah, they will until we have a lot of time for that.
Я бы не сказал, что у нас есть очень много времени. Времени на самом деле мало. Задача очень амбициозная, и нам предстоит решить огромное количество технических проблем. Но мы в том числе этим занимаемся.
Yeah, like Mr. Vlasik said, no, we don't have a lot of time. So yeah, we have a lot of goals, and it's a very ambitious one. So we need to do a lot.
Thank you very much. Mr. Schindl, we know that ASQS Group has works in the aviation safety and quality management. What do you think about the relation between automatization of the cockpit and aviation safety?
First of all, I have to say I'm not a pilot, so please accept that. And of course, I think it's an important question to pilots. But since I don't have a pilot license, please consider that in my answer. What we see, of course, in the data and what we've learned from some of the accidents happening in the accident investigations. Of course, on the one side, automation is a great tool, and it helps our pilots a lot. But it also can be a big threat. We know if you misinterpret your instruments, if you do not stick to your basic flying skills, for example, what we've seen with the Air France accident over the Atlantic Ocean. So at the end of the day, pilots, I think it's still important that they keep the knowledge about the basic flying skills, pitch power. So everything has to be back to these basics. And so automation can be a big help. I know from some studies also from Airbus, for example, they also consider how can they keep the pilot busy in a way in the cockpit, because we know, of course, long-haul flights, if everything is automated, the most challenging flight phase is the landing phase. If we consider long-haul flight, 12, 13 hours, of course, crews are tired. If they purely rely on their instruments, we have seen that of the incidents. So it is important to consider that. On the other side, we know with further enhanced technology, we will get more automation in the cockpit. We know also there in the cockpit, we will have artificial intelligence in the future. So also in this discussion, what there was last week with EASA, there will come tools in the cockpit which are automatically identifying certain, for example, Cessna 152 with the transponder off, etc., etc. So all of these equipments will come, but it's always important that we train our pilots properly, that they understand the automation, that they have the proper skill set to work with that. So I think it is changing the qualification requirements for the pilots also in the future. And it is important that we keep these trainings, so especially in the training programs, that we make sure that the pilots have these skills to understand the automation, to understand the systems installed in the aircraft, that we avoid situations in the future like the 737 MAX accidents, what we have seen.
Thank you very much. Sometimes I'm thinking that technology and aviation just is running faster than us.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. One of audience raising his hand is Said. You're welcome. Actually, we cannot hear. If you have a question, you can say it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rahman. I've got one question to Mr. Schindl, and I'm also wondering, for these SMS trainings, they're mostly given by an instructor, so they have to be someone who have license and also have these certificates with him. So do you also provide in a 3D way, so the employees they can watch these trainings on with the goggles in their home, so there will be no need to come and have a lecture day, for example, so they can use the goggles.
Yep. So if I understand correctly, if there should be more training with these 3D goggles, basically.
Yes, sir.
Yes. There's definitely a lot of opportunity for that. I know that some of our partners I'm talking to, they provide such training courses or with these 3D goggles. For example, in the ground environment or in the maintenance environment, it is used that you really can artificially display a full maintenance environment. You take the tools, you repair virtually an aircraft, and I think these are great tools because or training tools for the future, because of course you can simulate situations you cannot simulate on an actual aircraft. So you cannot of course make a technical defect on purpose and just see is the mechanic identifying the problem or not. So we have here of course fantastic tools for the future. It's always a certification topic. As we know, aviation, you cannot just deploy technology without getting the relevant authorizations from the authorities. We always know the industry is further in the developments compared what the regulators allow the industry to use. But all these tools will come in the future, and they are a great asset because we can much better simulate situations. For example, also in the ground handling, I heard about you can drive around with the ground handling truck basically virtually, and then see that you correctly position the ground equipment to the aircraft, that you're not damaging the aircraft and all these things. Of course, you can't do that in reality, but with these fantastic tools, we have great tools for the future to better train all our staff. So not only engineers, ground staff, but everyone in the aviation industry.
Thanks for that. And plus, also, this is the technical side. For this, we've been trained in aviation that whenever you want to add something to an aircraft, you should apply IASA Part 21 or something, anything regarding the configuration of the aerodrome and the airworthiness. So for these softwares, do you need also to apply an authority request to operate them?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part of the question?
For the software applications, whether it's an SMS or QMST?
No, for our software, there is no certification. So since we are not producing any parts, or since our product is not installed in the aircraft directly, so our product for SMS, QMS software, there is no approval actually required. How the system is approved? Basically, it's indirectly. So basically, we provide our product to our customers. The customers, they have to write the processes in the operations manual or in the maintenance organization exposition in whatever environment our product is used. So they are describing the other processes, and these processes are then finally accepted or approved depending by the authority. And so it's kind of an indirect way how the authorities are approving our tool. But we, as a product that we are providing, there's no direct approval.
Thank you so much, sir, for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schindl. Mr. Vlasik, as we know, noise has problem in the industry. Does your new aircraft design or future production in aircraft take noise reduction, like reduction, into consideration?
Безусловно. Мы действительно обязаны обеспечивать требования, предъявляемые к самолетам по шуму, по авиационному шуму. Конечно, несмотря на то, что основной вклад в уровень шума, производимого самолетом, вносит силовая установка, двигатель, тем не менее применение самолетов с хорошей аэродинамикой, с правильными компоновочными решениями, с правильным расположением силовой установки, с правильными характеристиками самолета, все это в комплексе позволяет обеспечить снижение уровня шума, создаваемого самолетом, в первую очередь в зоне аэродрома. Поэтому, безусловно, работая над нашими существующими перспективными проектами, естественно, мы стараемся обеспечить безусловное выполнение этих требований. И это касается не только шума, это касается и других экологических аспектов. Это требование, мы обязаны им соответствовать.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vlasik, for the answer. As Mr. Vlasik said, yes, they definitely, and they must also reduce the noises that usually. And as we already know, the main point of noise is coming from the power plant. And with the right amount of aerodynamic design, of course, it will reduce the noise and the whole system will be working better. And as they already working with their perspective works, they're already doing the job for reducing the noise. And it's not just only about the noise, but also about other ecological projects, ecological problems that they have, like the zero emission, for example, that they had already.
Там не только нулевые выбросы, снижение выбросов.
Yes, not just zero, but also reducing.
Thank you very much. Also, Mr. Vlasik have a question. We will see the commercial type of Antonov AN-178 in the future.
Безусловно. Поскольку проект Antonov 178 еще на этапе своего создания, он предусматривал создание коммерческой версии, грузовой версии этого самолета и наличие рампы, высокая автономность этой машины. Естественно, она представляет интерес на рынке коммерческих перевозок, поэтому, да, безусловно, мы работаем над созданием такой модификации. Подана заявка на сертификацию такой модели. Мы над ней уже работаем. Нам необходимо, чтобы закончилась война.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Vlasik. As Mr. Vlasik said, yes, AN 178 is already on the development, and it's gonna have a lot of good sides, as one of them is high autonomy, and it has a high value. As there is a request and they are working on that. So the only thing they need is to stabilize the situation itself in their country.
Thank you very much. Mr. Issa Sayed, you raised your hand, but I want to confirm you that we have very limited time, so you can ask your question shortly.
Straight to Mr. Vlad. I'm not sure if Antonov was created on search and rescue mission. So did any kind of design?
Я прошу прощения, я не очень расслышал вопрос. Вы не могли бы повторить или...
Can you please repeat the question?
Are there any design of Antonov which might prepare as a kind of a search and rescue mission?
Abud, I'm sorry, I can't hear the question.
I have internet problems, or I'll check it.
Okay. I have a question for Mr. Schindl, also for Mr. Vlasik. Like, as we know, here in the session, there are students from different countries, different nationalities, and different age. What are your advice to them to become successfully in the aviation industry in 1-2 sentences? We can start with Mr. Schindl.
As your students are international, so is of course our industry. So you will work with a lot of different mentalities, different characters. So I think it's important to recognize and to appreciate all the different cultures you are working with. As I already said, always be open to learn something new. Always try to be ahead of all the involvements in the area where you are working, and also as it's an international business, also always changing the country you're living in for some opportunities you have. Myself, I worked, for example, for a couple of years in Luxembourg, completely different environment, and it was extremely beneficial for my career and for my personality.
Thank you very much.
Можно ответить со своей стороны, да? Ну, в первую очередь, мое пожелание студентам. Я хочу, чтобы работа в авиации для вас была как хобби, а хобби была вашей работой. Авиация – это удел небезразличных людей, и для того, чтобы достичь неуспехов, необходимо отдавать этой работе все свои силы и всю свою энергию. Необходимо заниматься своим развитием, необходимо учиться на протяжении всей своей карьеры, на протяжении всей своей жизни. Таковы правила в авиации. Никогда не сдаваться, преодолевать все препятствия, которые будут возникать на пути. И помнить, что авиация – это всегда в первую очередь безопасность. Я думаю, здесь мы будем солидарны с господином Шиндлером. Поэтому я желаю каждому из наших слушателей найти свое место в авиации. И пусть ваше небо будет мирным и чистым.
Thank you, Mr. Vlasik, for the such interesting question. It was wonderful. Thank you so much. As Mr. Vlasik said, his advice for the students is he wants for everyone to have the aviation as not just something they like, but something that they not just enjoy, but their hobby in general. Something that they will love with their whole heart, something that they will study their whole life, something that will be serious, serious about it. Never give up, and always remember that it's always about safety. And for everyone, he's saying that please have so let the sky be above everyone of you, sky and clear and pure. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Really do the time limitation we have. I'm sad for that. I hope we will meet you again in other events, because I personally had a lot of knowledge. I liked me and my team and also the audience to thank Mr. Schindl and Mr. Vlasik for their great contribution and attendance. And I'd like to inform you our second session, the Balkan session, will start at 9 p.m. See you at 9 p.m. with our moderator, Duna. Thank you very much.
Спасибо большое, мистер. I'm sorry?
Sorry, please.
Thank you. Спасибо большое, мистер Власик, за то, что вы сегодня нас посетили. Это был великолепный разговор, особенно про каждый самолет Ан, который мы послушали. Также узнать больше подробностей про Ан-225. Я невероятно рад, что я послушал про это, потому что я очень давно хотел про это послушать. Спасибо большое. Thank you so much.
Большое спасибо вам.
Also, thank you from my side for having me. It was a great pleasure. I hope you will still have nice sessions after that one, and I hope there was some good information for all the students and attendees. And yeah, thanks for having me for the panel. It was a great pleasure and great honor.
Our pleasure, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for everything. Well with you.
Спасибо за интересные вопросы, за общение. Спасибо.
Thank you for such a beautiful everything.
I want to notify you, our audiences and also our guests. Our second session's guest, Mr. Akbıyık and Mr. Basdekis, has just arrived. Welcome you all, sir.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, now my mic is on. Hello, everyone. Berkay, would you like to give a 5 minutes of break to your colleagues, or we are directly starting? How would you like to proceed?
Whatever you wish, sir. Also, Mr. Basdekis, if you wish
Hello from my side also.
Hello, sir. If you wish to have a break, we can break, sir. Or if you want, we can start. Thank you, Ms. Habibe.
For me, it's up to you.
If it's okay, that we will start at 9 p.m.
Perfect. Course, let's give a 5 minutes of break.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I'd like to personally thanks to Mustafa Aslan Hojam and for Habibe Hojam and for all our lecturers to enter our event. Thank you for attending.
I really congratulate you, Abdurrahman. It was a great event. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Welcome.
Dear audience and also dear guests, I want to notify you Mr. Emre Devrim has just arrived as a surprise guest. Thank you, sir, for meeting with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining, Mr. Devrim.
Yes, I achieved. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So we should start. Good evening, everyone. Dear panelists, lecturers, and friends, as IGU Aviation Club, we are here to run our panel's second session, namely Balkans Eurasia session, with Mr. Selçuk Akbıyık, Commercial Director of Air ACT, and Mr. Sotirios Basdekis, Ground Handling Director of Bulgaria Air, and our surprise guest, Mr. Emre Devrim, Ancillary Customers Experience and Business Development Manager of Sun Express. I am here with you, Dona Abdelkader, will be in the moderation of this session. Shall we start, sir?
Yes, please. Dona, very nice to see you here.
Hello. So I have a question for all of you today, for all of our panelists. Can you tell us about yourselves and your career in brief? Mr. Akbıyık, you can start with.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very nice to see you again, your team. I'm very excited again to be here for the third year, Berkay. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. This is the third time to meeting with you.
It's very nice to be with you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Selçuk Akbıyık, as Dona said, Commercial Director of ACT Airlines. This is my 20th year in the aviation industry. I'm graduate from Marmara University of Istanbul as a journalist, but by chance I got into aviation business and I love it. I started my career in MNG Airlines in 2004, again as a commercial specialist. From 2006 to today, I'm with ACT Airlines from the first day, ACT Airlines Cargo. I don't want to make it too long, so I will leave it to my colleagues, Mr. Emre, Mr. Sotis.
Thank you, Mr. Akbıyık. Mr. Basdekis, you can tell us about yourself and your career.
Thank you. Hello to everyone. My name is Sotirios Basdekis and I'm the Ground Handling Director of Bulgaria Air. I'm in aviation industry almost 15 years. I have started in a ground handling company here in Bulgaria, Golder Handling, as a ramp agent. After that, I was deputy operation manager, and from 2014 until 2021, I was the general manager of ground handling company, the Golder Handling. And almost 2 years ago, I jumped from the ground handler to the airline as a ground handling director. So this is my path to the aviation. Except that, I studied also something different. I studied economics a lot of years ago, but yeah, I was lucky to join the aviation industry. You know, it's a very interesting and dynamic job, as you know, all of you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Mr. Devrim, would you like to talk?
Absolutely. Selçuk Bey, Sotis Bey, and the dear participant, good evening to everyone. This is Emre Devrim speaking, and I'm an industrial engineer and graduated from 9 Eylül University. Aviation is my third sector. I was in automotive sector, I worked in retail sector, and the last one is aviation sector. But I really have a chance to work different areas of aviation. So I worked in an airport, I worked in an airline, and I worked in a handling in different areas, commercial, quality, and ground ops. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So for the second question, we would like to start with Mr. Basdekis. So how did you reach the title of ground handling director?
As I told you, I had the experience because my career in aviation started as a ramp agent in a ground handling company. So I had a lot of experience in the operations. After that, I had the role of the general manager for 7 years in a ground handling company. So I had experience also from the administration of the handling activities. So when I received the offer from an airline, it was like an upgrade for me to jump from a ground handler to an airline in order to see the things from the other side of because until 2 years ago, I was worked only as in a ground handling company. So it was very interesting for me to see how the things are working from the other side. As a client of a ground handler, you know, it's a little bit different. So this was the story, and this how I became a ground handling director at the airline.
Wow, that was a long journey. A lot of upgrades. Yeah. And Mr. Akbıyık, would you like to tell us how did you reach the title of commercial director?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, some of your colleagues, some of your friends worked as interns in our company for last 2 years. So we have an idea of doing business in aviation. Even someone is working for ground handling, commercial, technical side, or the management. We educate people who are working together with us to understand each side of the aviation. For example, they need to have 2 weeks of OCC experience. 3 weeks of ground handling experience, 3 weeks of commercial experience. Again, they need to see some time, they need to spend some time with the technical guys, at least to understand what is an aircraft, how it flies, and what is it. So I started like that. Then you know, everyone needs to have a target. There are hundreds, not hundreds, sorry, I'm exaggerating. There are numbers of ways and legs in aviation business. So you first need to define what you want to do in aviation: to manage, to maintain, to operate. So you will find your way. This is how I became a commercial guy in the aviation. And thanks to my bosses, so they saw some small light on me, and I'm here at the moment. You need to have a target, first of all, Donna. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your answer. And Mr. Devrim, would you like to tell us how did you reach your title of Ancillary Customers Experience and Business Development Manager?
Thank you. I know that I have a complex title. Sorry for that. The reason I get this title is I'm really work with different areas. So I work for commercial side for the ancillary revenues. Also, I work for business development and planning side for the handling company, low-cost handling company. Then get the business development title. But for everyone, my biggest advice is be nice to everyone. So just hard work and be nice. Then the things will come over to you. Nothing more, nothing less.
I agree with that advice. And I'm sure all of our friends do. So another question for all of our panelists. What are your predictions about the future of the aviation industry? Mr. Basdekis, would you like to start?
Yes. So, as we know, it was very, very difficult and strange years, the past 2-3 years for the aviation. So, it will be very difficult to make for me to make predictions for the future. But for sure, we are facing a very, very big crisis at the moment. I mean, from my point of view, as a ground handling director in an airline, I'm seeing that the airline industry is not so attractive for the young people in order to join the aviation industry. We are facing as airlines and also as ground handlers very big issues with the staff. This is a result of the policy that all of us were following during the COVID. But I believe that in order to have a better future, we have to find again our path and road and to be attractive to the young people. Aviation industry and specifically the handling ground handlers, they lost a lot of qualification staff. That it will be difficult to replace the following year. So my prediction for the future of aviation, I believe that we have to be more focused to the human resources. We have to be more careful with our decisions because the impact that our decision for now that we'll have in the future, it is very important. So I'm expecting the following years to be also, at least the following 3 or 4 years, to be difficult for our industry. At least until will be more stable the environment, and not only the airlines, but the airports and the ground handlers also.
I think that's a good point to consider in the future of aviation. Thank you. Mr. Akbıyık, would you like to add some more?
I totally agree with Mr. Basdekis. Now, the most popular saying of the today's aviation world is the sustainability. As Mr. Sotis said, we had difficult years. Let's say we had difficult 3 years during the hard COVID period. Okay, I mean, I cannot complain as I'm a cargo airliner. I cannot complain too much. We had good days, but
I think you had your best days, huh?
Unfortunately, but as of today, we are together with the passenger and cargo side. So at least to sustain the today's conditions will be harder than yesterday. And I am sure that one of the topics of your panel is the automatization of the business. Today we are talking about the deliveries. I mean, I'm talking about the cargo side. We are talking about the deliveries of the cargos with drones. To minimize the human risk, I think we will need it more. You see the articles about the technology, about the, sorry, I couldn't remember the word, so I'm just trying to gain time. We are seeing the articles about the Google's owners. They are trying to avoid the too much high tech. So I'm not sure if we are going in a very good day, but this must not break your hard working. We need to discuss in details. We need to discuss in details more and more with you guys. I don't want to break your hearts, so I will stop here.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Devrim, would you like to tell us your answer?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm completely agree with Mr. Sotis and Mr. Selçuk, because aviation is always up and downs. So for the COVID side, it's not a down, it's something beneath the earth. So we just crashed. So especially for the passenger airlines, not for the cargo, it's really hard, but it's going up now. And I think in a few years, in a low aspect, in the near future, in 3 years or something like that, it will be going up. Then never forget that aviation is a tourism combined with tourism and really affect all kinds of economic crisis and activities in the world, such as Russian and Ukrainian war. So even if we are in the good days, we see that there is really problems and passenger handlings, especially in Europe and the other side of the world. So that means that it is not easy to handle an airline or ground handling or aviation business in a sustainability world. So sustainability is the real key word for the next 10 years or 20 years of the aviation, because everyone trying to sustain their business model into the market. Besides this, aviation will be improve itself. There's no there's a strong evidence about that. technology is affecting aviation very fast, and it really gets the benefits really quickly, such as there is automatic turnaround programs already in the market that you can buy and easy to adapt your systems. So we will see every part of aviation a new technology and a new process improvement, such as biometrics, automatic flights, jet flights, every part of the industry. So technology will completely change for the aviation industry. Also, for the contributing participants, I really want to advise one more thing. If you want to see what will happen and what will be happening in the next 10 years, 20 years, go for the Boeing and Airbus site. So in their website, you can find 20 years of forecasts for the aviation industry. It is really a good source to understand what will happen next. Also, one more source is IATA. IATA has 20 years of forecasts, but believe in that, Boeing and Airbus sources are very good and full of information. So in your free time, just open and look them. Then you will see that aviation, focus of aviation and center is completely going through America to China. Then it's easier to understand what was happening in the world and what was going to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your answer.
Donna,
Yes.
if you excuse me, I would like to add a little bit more on top of Mr. Emre's sayings. I agree with him. To follow Airbus and Boeing's forecast is good. By the way, excuse me, I have a little dog, so he's barking. Excuse me, please. But in some of the meetings or forums, panels of Airbus and Boeing, we see very positive forecasts from them. And as the airliners, we time to time think that this is to sell more assets to the airlines like Sun Express, like Turkish, like ACT, like Air Bulgaria. So I also wanted to add that. So Mr. Emre, I don't see that optimistic about aviation world, to be honest. Excuse me, please.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your good points. Thank you. So should we continue?
Donna, sorry to interrupt you. We have
Yeah.
a question from the chat section, which comes from Mr. Halil. Mr. Halil says that, Mr. Sotirios, do you think the aviation industry is developing in the Middle East and there is such a good future there to think of working there? Thank you.
Look, the aviation in the Middle East, as far as I know, as I don't have a very big experience there, but I believe that it's in a better condition than in Europe. If you see the airlines that are operating in the Middle East and the European airlines, you will understand the difference and also the volumes. In Europe, there are a lot of small airlines that, let's say, they are regional airlines, that they are flying only in between Europe. And in Middle East is the opposite. Almost they are all big airlines, even the Gulf airlines. So yes, I believe that it's a very, very good future. If we are talking about aviation, it's it's a better option, according to me, than in Europe.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Mustafa Hocam, would you like to talk?
Abdurrahman raised his hand, I believe, before I did. Right after
The mic is yours, Mustafa.
No, okay. Go ahead, please.
Okay. As I read recently, like Boeing have buying some parts of the aircrafts from Morocco, from UAE. It's been produced there, such parts. That's what made me to ask about like the Arab countries, especially. Now they are proving the quality of the production. They are proving, as we say in Qatar, they have one of the best airlines, one of the best airports in the world. That's why I asked my question. Now I see they are proving better than Europe. But in your opinion, what is the best countries now, like in aviation industry?
The best countries. Difficult question. You know, it's not only Japan. No, okay. It's the Gulf airlines are, according to me, are a very, very good option if you want to work in an airline. Except of that, there are a lot of, if you want to be an airport guy, there are a lot of good airports, even in Europe, of course, that you can have great experience. And also in Middle East, also in America, of course. So, but according to me, because we are in this region, let's say, Gulf Airlines are a very good option. In all of the aspects, I mean, the job experience, financial aspect, so it's a good option.
Thank you very much. Mustafa Aslan, you can ask me.
Excuse me, also it's the main problem that are facing the European airlines, that they cannot be competitive in order to attract staff. I mean, high-profile staff.
Okay. Mr. Devrim said that IATA is making forecasts as well. At the beginning of COVID-19 pandemics, you know, IATA, all the forecasts of IATA were like, we are only, the crisis will end in 3 or 4 months, you know, all the forecasts of IATA were like that. So I don't really trust their forecast. But my question over here is not really related with that. Now, we have been talking about everything, but you know, I believe almost all of you have heard the One Belt and One Road initiative of China, Belt and Road Initiative, the other name. And we all know that 1%, less than 1% of the world trade is done through air logistics, as far as concerning the volume. But it's really equals to over 36% by value. Now, and China is developing this Belt and Road Initiative to get rid of this air logistics, because most of the items are being shipped from China, from Far East, from China, Singapore, Thailand, South Korea, you know, and they use airlines or air logistics to provide those items to their market in Europe or in United America. Now, how it's going to affect air logistics, since the air logistics is experiencing the best time in its history.
If you allow me, as a cargo guy, I would like to reply Ms. Mustafa Hoca. Now, as I explained, for last 2.5 years, 3 years, we had our best times of our lives. About the volumes, about the values. As you said, only the 1% of the volume is belonging to the air cargo, about 36 to 40% as the value. Now, our business is a luxury business. To carry something by air cargo is luxury. So it is directly depending on the economics of the world or economic of a country. But it's an international thing. So if the economy of Germany is down, France is down. So I can reply you as if the economy good, if the worldwide economy is okay, we will never let our customers down. But if the
my question is not that. The average cargo handling time for air logistics is 7 days. It never changed almost. 7 days, average. Yeah, 7 to 8 days. But
depends,
with the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, the China is planning to deliver goods within 2 days from China to Europe. Okay, and it will be a lot cheaper, a lot cheaper. And so, and as you said, you are carrying luxury goods. And the iPhones or the cellular phones or all electronic devices are really considered luxury because the lifetime of electronic item is technology is 6 months, so it has to be carried very fast.
Definitely.
Okay, that's what my question is. I mean, it's not about the economy of Europe because it's Euro region, so it will always survive.
I mean, if China can do that, we are all dead, Mustafa Hoca. I mean, if they can do that, we are all dead. I mean, nothing to talk about it. Normally now, scheduled cargo airlines or scheduled airlines like Turkish, Qatar, some part of ACT, our transit time from Far East to Europe or States is 1 to 2 days. I think China needs to compete with this. I mean, if they can decrease it to 1 day, then that's an option. But any transit time as a cargo airline cannot be more than 2 days, Mustafa Hocam. Then you are out of the game.
Handling time is different than carrying time. Handling time, you deliver to customs, all the custom clearance stuff.
You are talking about door-to-door transportation.
Door-to-door transport. Well, it's really good because in the literature it says that 7 days average. That's what I know. Okay. Thank you.
Also, I really want to add something, if you mind. Before that, I really want to give the greetings of Bekir Aslan to you.
Oh yeah, my nephew.
Yeah.
Please tell him to call me.
Absolutely. He's a very good friend of mine, and we are working towards now in Sun Express. Don't forget supply and demand for the cargo business because we are experiencing a great demand over the supply. So I really don't know how the China's the supply and how it is going to be, but I can give some examples from Turkey to other regions such as Gulf countries. So as you know, there is a very good fish business in Muğla, Aydın, and Izmir. So all of the fish business is going to distribute it from Izmir. But even if the demand is so high that Izmir does not recover all the demand, some of the cargo goes to Istanbul and then goes to countries such as Dubai, Qatar, Tel Aviv, and the other Middle East countries. So the supply over the cargo is amazing so now. And I think that will not change the balances. But I just want to say one more thing. If it is going to be 2 days, it is not going to be cheap.
Train, high-speed trains they are going to use.
Yeah, I know that, but if something is fast, it's not cheap.
Inshallah.
Because it's opposite the spirit of commercial. So if you're doing something fast, something good, then you charge more.
You need to pay.
Yeah.
I think that was a great discussion. Like, I agree with some points, and some things are like you want to deliver your thing fast, so you have to pay. Yeah. So, Mr. Devrim, I have a question for you. We know that Sun Express is one of the airlines of Turkey, right? So does Sun Express have any plans in terms of expansion of the fleet?
Yes. As you know, Sun Express is a joint venture company of Turkish Airlines and Lufthansa. So we are a son of two big flag carriers. And, you know, maybe if you track it from the news, Turkish Airlines has a press release about the 10 years, what would they do about the biggest expansion of what they are planning to. So they are just trying to double the aircraft frequency. And Sun Express has the same plans with Turkish Airlines. So the same strategy in here. Last year, we have 45 aircraft operating. In 2022. At the end of 23, we are planning to have 60 aircrafts. So it's a very good expansion, and our goal to reach 100 in 5 years, less than 5 years.
So you have a great vision and mission to accomplish.
The aviation in Turkey, the demand is amazing. So it's not just the local demand. So we are in a position of transfer passengers from Europe to other countries, Middle East, Asia, and Africa. So the demand of transportation, both cargo and passengers, is amazing. I hope it will go so.
I hope it will grow fast. Mr. Akbıyık, we know that Air ACT is one of the air cargo liners of Turkey also. Does Air ACT have any plans in terms of expansion also?
To be honest, I'm stressed after I heard the number of aircrafts Mr. Emre is talking about. So
Me too.
we are a small airline, as you know. We are operating 747 Boeing 747-400 freighters. Now these aircrafts are coming up to 22 years old. Okay, it's okay for cargo aircraft, but I don't know if you follow. Now 777s will be converted. Already started to convert. So as of 2025, beginning of 2025, I cannot pronounce the number, but some number of 777s will join the fleet as additional freighters. Plus, now as the market is going, cargo market is going down, we are looking to induct similar type of the freighters to the fleet. But 2025 is the year to induct 777-300 converted freighters. I can tell you that.
So in the year 2025, we have a lot of things going on.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah, we have here our hojam, Habibe Güngör.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for the nice panel. I want to ask all, panelists here. Basically, Airbus forecasting is for the 2041, and air traffic will be more than doubled in 2041, more than today. So, do you think, skilled person in aviation sector could meet with this number and or will the industry have some problem about hiring people, especially I'm talking about skilled people. And today's biggest problem, that's why I'm asking, do you think in the future these skilled people will meet with the air traffic, basically?
So if I can start, as I told before, skilled people, they are not meeting the demand even now with these numbers of traffic. So it will be very, very difficult to meet the demand, a double demand, let's say. It will be, my opinion is that this will be the challenge for the aviation the next years, to convince the young people to be a part of the aviation industry, and to convince them that they have a safe place to work, that they will not be in a point tomorrow that they will be with no job because of a pandemic again or whatever, because this is what aviation did with the staff some months ago, not even years. Okay, it's the same challenge in the tourism, but it's a different sector. So this is the first thing. The second thing is the remunerations of the staff. Aviation, this is the second thing, why it's not an attractive sector anymore. Because the salaries that we are offering to the young people, to the staff, to the people generally, are not, at least in Europe, are not enough or are not high enough to attract people from other sectors or young people to join aviation sector. So we are finding ourselves now in a position that we have a very high peak of the demand in, let's say, less than a year, okay, and with a very high demand of staff, and we cannot find not qualified staff. We cannot find even unqualified staff. So this will be the challenge for the next years, because otherwise we will face a lot of issues. And yes, maybe we will have a demand for the increase of the traffic, but we will not, we cannot afford it, actually. Because we saw next summer the situation in the main airports in Europe. And unfortunately, I believe that we will see maybe the same situation in the main airports in Europe in this summer. So we have to find the balance and to invest in the human resource, but also to have a sustainable airlines, because also this is the other hand, you know, you cannot offer big salaries or high salaries and you don't when you don't have the revenue. This is a very, very tricky moment, the challenge for the next years for me, according to me, for the airlines.
Habibe Hocam merhaba. Just two sentences to add to Sotis. I totally agree with him. I mean, we cannot find qualified people in any area of business. I mean, it's not about totally the aviation. In my previous words, I said that I cannot agree with the forecasts of IATA, Boeing, Airbus, and so these are the authorities. As Mustafa Hocam said, I cannot agree with them. They are trying to sell some assets to the market. Yes, there will be demand, but to find qualified people, very difficult. I mean, as Soti said today, fly to Munich, you will stay on ground for 2 hours, even if it is a low-cost carrier, and you must depart in 40 minutes. 2 hours means extra couple of €1,000 for the airline, so it's not sustainable. This is my thinking.
Selçuk Bey, why do you think all industries have this problem? I mean, non-qualified people are working, or it's very hard to find qualified people, because this is what I heard from a CEO in USA. He was saying the same thing. I cannot find anyone qualified. So why do you think today's world having this problem?
Habibe Hanım, I will come back to sustainability. Before the COVID, we had that, you know, the system was running. People were educated by the elders and the system was running. But during COVID time, to cut the costs, a lot of people are out of their business. So that chain is broken. So we lost 3 years. 3 years is a very big gap in any kind of business, in any part of business. This is my thinking, but that 3 years made us lost a lot of experience and qualified power, working power.
Also, I want to add something about this issue. This is a very good question. Thank you, because we are already challenging the difficulties in Europe and other stations. It has been lived last year. So when we look at 2023, it's not better than that, because last year the airline demand is not so high, but this year they are going to increase their flights to every station, but the ground handlers could not find enough staff to hire and work in the airports. Not just ground handlers, security and the other companies also couldn't find enough qualified staff. So I don't want to frighten no one else, but qualified staff is lack in every part of aviation. So if you look at air traffic controllers, cabin, cockpit, you can easily find a job all over the world. But the problem, which is Selçuk Bey is really good explained, the COVID, and it's the same situation in Europe and US. The COVID breaks the trust and the work of the aviation work. So people was working in the aviation, then one day they are out of the job and they have nothing to do. So they don't, now everyone is requesting to turn back, but there is no work guarantee. So no one feels safe in aviation. And it's really breaks down. So everyone starts to working in logistics, shipping, Amazon, something like that. It's real. I know that many people are working in Amazon in Germany. And most of the airports, such as Frankfurt, Köln, Munich, couldn't find qualified staff. So I know that in Schiphol, they are looking over 100 security staff. They are searching for it, but they couldn't find it. So we will experience the same irregularities this year again. We are trying to find solutions, but there is no proper solution because the trust is broken. For a few years, it will go the same way. so nothing to change. But eventually, the salaries needs to be higher to an aviation sector, and then it will going to back into business. But please, when our friends, if you are good in job, there is always a job in aviation, and no nationality, all over the world. Just search some keywords for the LinkedIn and the other web services, then you can find that there is lots of jobs listing in the there. Thank you.
So actually, there is another research field for us, for the academics. So, there must be another crisis management, which is convincing, skilled people or qualified staff to stay in the field, or to attract back them to the field, or in the crisis time, we have to convince them, they are valuable for the industry, and they will have the future in the industry. So, as I said, that's another research field for us, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason why the sustainability is so popular in aviation is that. So Selçuk Bey is so right about it, because sustainability is not just business. It's already covering the staff and all of the parts of the resources.
Thank you very much, all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Habibe Hocam, for participation, and thank you, sir, for your answers. I think we have some questions in the chat. If we could please
I may assist you if you want, Donna.
Yeah, no problem.
Mr. Adnan said that, Mr. Sotirios Basdekis, how did technology development assisted ground handling in your opinion? Thank you.
The technology is playing a very important role in ground handling, in almost in every part of the handling. The baggage handling, the passenger handling, that with all the new systems that we are using now, it's a very big difference. How is the ground handling performing these days in comparison how there was the ground handling 10 years ago, not 20 or 30, because you have now the new BRS systems regarding the baggage handling. You even have the ground service equipment full automated, like baggage belts, that you need even less human resources in order to operate it. So it's a very, very big part of the ground handling, the technology development. The assistant is in every part. The online check-in, if you want. So it's a huge assistance. So in the next years, it will be. I think that the ground handling, it will change a lot, because the digitalization and the automatization of the operations will change everything that we knew until now. Of course, probably will reduce the needs of the human resources, will reduce the timings that we will need in order to handle an aircraft. So it will be a totally different picture, let's say. So it's I think that it's improved a lot, the ground handling operations.
Thank you so much, sir. Also, we have a question for Mr. Devrim. Mr. Devrim, which priority safety is in your organization? How do you value it as an airline?
So
the priority in terms of safety, sir.
So safety is the priority for an airline. So there is no discussion about it. because before overall all operations and everything, safety is the first thing you need to look at. Safety and security, it's different from each other. For SunExpress, it's really important, safety, that we know that when our customers get into plane, they need to feel safe. And we really take when we start taking their decisions, trust is the most important and the key word for SunExpress. So safety is our priority without everything. So when we compare anything to safety, even revenue, whatever it is, safety is the first place. So the aviation sector, it's not comparable. It's not this open discussion. Yeah. So safety is the only thing you could do.
Thank you so much, sir. Also, we have a question for Mr. Akbıyık. Also, it came from Mr. Adnan. Mr. Akbıyık, how does organization meets obligations to protect social and earth well-being?
Before I reply to that question, Berkay, I totally agree with Mr. Devrim. And, you know, there is a Turkish saying, I don't know if it's the same in English, but the aviation history is written with blood. So safety is everything. So I cannot disagree with that. About the earth well-being, as all the airlines are doing, what are we doing to clean? Not clean, but at least to minimize the dirt in the earth. We are working on some fuel conservation programs to minimize the fuel burn on our aircrafts, for example, because that's the main thing. That's the worst thing we are doing to the earth. So that's the one thing we are working on. The second thing, again, as all the airlines, we are working on alternate power options, such as biofuels, electrics, and so. I'm not an expert on that, so I can give you only these two examples, but I will be happy to introduce my colleagues in the company to give your colleagues more and more information. Berkay.
Thank you so much, sir. I want to continue with the questions from the comment section. This question is for Mr. Basdekis, which came from Mr. Ise. Mr. Sotis, as a director, what is the hardest part of your daily operations? I've heard the terminal side is heavier than the airside operations.
You know, it's a very, very difficult, very, very different field. It depends. It's a very subjective. What is a heavier job? It depends on your personality. If you are a person that you like to deal with people, then the terminal side is better for you. If you are a person that you like more the, let's say, more operating job, so the apron is better. Both fields are difficult. Every field has the specification of the job. So I cannot say. If you are asking my personal opinion, the terminal side is worst. I prefer the apron because you can see the real aviation there. You are near to the aircraft. You are dealing with the equipment. So for me, it's more interesting, let's say, the apron side.
Thank you so much, sir.
Also, I don't like to deal with customers, so it's
Thank you.
It's very, very difficult.
Thank you for your answer. I think, yeah, we have finished the questions from the comment section. I only have one question to finalize our panel, and then if other students have any questions, they might ask. So the question is for all of our panelists. We have here students, international students from all over the world. So what kind of advice can you give for them to become successful in the aviation industry? It doesn't matter where in the aviation industry, but yeah, in that business.
If you allow me to start, just very shortly, define your target, colleagues. Define your target. Know what you want to do, where you want to be, and work for that. But define your target very shortly.
Thank you. I'm sure we all agree with that. Mr. Basdekis, would you like to add some more?
Actually, this is a very, very important, and I agree with Mr. Selçuk. You have to understand what you want to be, what you want to do, and if we are speaking for aviation, there are so many different fields that you can deal with. So it's very, very important to see what exactly fits to your personality, because aviation can offer a lot of positions, a lot of different jobs, specialties. So it's depends on your personality to choose what fits to your character in order to do it well. So yes, define your needs, define what you want to be, and I'm sure that you will find the correct position in the aviation.
I'm sure of that too. Thank you. And Mr. Devrim, what's your opinion on that?
Okay, first of all, I agree with Mr. Selçuk and Mr. Sotis. You need to set your goal. It's really important, and you need to set your goal according to your personality and your abilities. That's okay. I will give some advices to my friends. So there is too many Turkish guys here, so I will start with the English. So I know that most of the students has limited English, and first practice it. So the major language of aviation is English in all over the world. Wherever you go, in Turkish it is English. So please first improve your English and don't let that language to be a barrier to you. So this is the first advice. The second advice is to add a secondary work area discipline to your work life. So maybe you're in aviation, but maybe add finance, add quality, or add information technology. So even if you are doing ground operations, you need to know somehow a little bit information technologies, how the system works, integrated, or other things. So add the secondary discipline, whatever it is, it's not important what you like. So and always add a hobby to your life. Work is not the everything, so have something to enjoy it with. And the last one is my biggest one: be nice to everyone. It's only work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We have here Mr. Abdurrahman Khalil raise their hand.
First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Selçuk, Mr. Emre, and Mr. Sotis. Thank you very much for the great conversation and information you provide to us. I hope to meet you face to face one day. And I'd like to ask our audience and our team to open your cameras, all of who can open, to take like a screenshot, and we can publish it in our social media. Please, Volkan, open. Let's open and take a screenshot together. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. So if anyone has any question, they can write in the section, in the comment section, or open their microphone and tell us.
It was a very nice experience for us. Thank you very much in front of our teachers, in front of our friends and colleagues. That was a different and very nice experience for us. Hope to see you very soon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your invite.
Thank you for everyone for the time and the organization. Have a nice night.
Thank you also for the invitation. It was a great experience for me also, and I hope that see you soon, guys. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
So thank you, Mr. Akbıyık, Mr. Basdekis, and Mr. Devrim for their great contribution and attendance. Really, thank you very much. And today's session have ended, guys. We will continue to our session tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. with the Africa session. Stay with aviation.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.